You're watching the NWR Virtual Health Conference. Welcome back. On the line, we have Marc Voigt all the way in Germany, and Marc Voigt is from Immutep. Immutep is a globally active biotech company that is a leader in the development of LAG-3-related immunotherapeutic device products for the treatment of cancer and autoimmune disease. Immutep is dedicated to leveraging its technology and expertise to bring innovative treatment options to market for patients and to maximize value for shareholders. Marc Voigt joins us from Berlin, I believe, and Marc was appointed as CEO and Executive Director in July 2014. He has extensive experience in the corporate and biotech sectors. He's previously worked as a personal assistant to a member of the executive board of Allianz Insurance. Marc has also worked for German investment bank NetIPO AG, in the area of business development and German securities offerings. In the early 2000s, he was investment manager in a mid-sized healthcare VC fund. In the biotech sector, he has held different executive positions, foremost in private German biotech companies. Over to you, Marc. We can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great pleasure to be here and to talk about Immutep. So here's our disclaimer. First of all, a few key investment highlights about Immutep. So we are the global leader in terms of lymphocyte activation gene 3, which is the most promising immune checkpoint beyond those where you have approved products already, like PD-1, for instance, or CTLA-4. So multi-billion-dollar blockbusters are based on immune checkpoints. It has been changing the way cancer patients are being treated today. We are active in two disease areas. On the one hand side, immuno-oncology, and then on the other hand side, also the flip side of the coin, if you like, autoimmune diseases. We have clinical potential, and of course, we will discuss about the safety and efficacy in a few minutes. We have actually 10 active clinical trials, including those of our partners. So there is a lot to come. Of course, we had more clinical trials reading out in the past, but 10 active clinical trials, meaning where you can expect data. Our business model is to develop our products to a certain stage and then to license them to the big pharmaceutical industry. And actually, we already delivered on that business model in the past. And of course, we hope to deliver on that business model in the future. So we have partnerships with GlaxoSmithKline, with Novartis, with Merck in the US, and also Merck Germany, Pfizer, and other biotech companies. So I believe it's a very good profile we have. We have a portfolio of 4 different product candidates, 2 major disease areas, which gives us also a good risk diversification for a biotech company. Directors and officers, I won't go too much into detail here. I would like to mention our chairman, of course, on top of that page, Russell Howard. He worked for more than 20 years in the US, CEO of different biotech companies there. And then more at the bottom of the page, Professor Frédéric Tribel, our CMO and CSO. He actually discovered LAG-3 and the immune checkpoint space just to underpin here the relevance or show the relevance, have been awarded with the Nobel Prize back in 2018. So it's a very significant finding. Frédéric is a worldwide leading scientist in terms of LAG-3, immunologist, oncologist, well over 140 publications. Now to LAG-3. What is LAG-3? I don't go too much into scientific detail, but you see here 2 cells, 2 immune cells on your left-hand side. The red bubble, that's a so-called antigen-presenting cell. And on the right-hand side, the T cell. And you can see that LAG-3 is located on top of the T cell. The T cells you can refer to like generals, like soldiers of the immune system. So they are on the battlefield of immunity. And then on the left-hand side, the antigen-presenting cells. These are the generals of the immune system, providing on the one hand side the information whom to attack, and also leading to more soldiers and creating more soldiers. And LAG-3 can on the one hand side positively regulate the immune system, so can turn it on, or could dim it down. So these are the 2 functions here. Now, this is of relevance, as you can see. This is the LAG-3 therapeutic landscape. We are the global leaders when it comes to LAG-3. So you will not find any other company having our profile. We are a LAG-3 pure play. We have 4 different product candidates, 2 in immuno-oncology, 2 in autoimmune diseases. No one else, including the big pharmaceutical companies, and including, of course, also our partners, has that profile and is that much advanced with so many different products. So at the bottom, you see the product we exclusively worldwide licensed to GlaxoSmithKline, a depleting antibody. Above that, our preclinical product candidate IMP761. On top of that page, you see the unique program eftilagimod alpha, an immune booster, and then our partner Novartis with the green bar in the middle, among a herd of blue bars. And they are leading in this antagonistic antibody space or immune checkpoint inhibitor space for LAG-3 is Bristol Myers Squibb, with well over 9,000 patients, more than 30 clinical trials. We believe that we are excellently positioned with Novartis. They have enough firepower. And it's good for us to see so many different approaches in LAG-3, because if LAG-3 is validated by us or by one of the other players, this will certainly reflect positively on Immutep. Again, we are the worldwide leaders, and if anyone would like to be part in LAG-3 in a big way, I believe it would be best to knock on our door. So our business model to license to the pharmaceutical industry, so it's obviously a transaction at the end of the day. Our customer is a big pharmaceutical industry, and the main driver for transactions in biotech is oncology. And that's no surprise, because oncology is the main growth driver for revenues of the big pharmaceutical industry. And for most, you see combination therapies and combination approaches as the key target for transactions. Here are a number of selected transactions. I believe many of you know at the bottom of that page Viralytics. They have been acquired by Merck. Every handshake you see here symbolizes an M&A transaction, so where the company has been taken over at the end of the day. Was also interesting to note the share price movements before, for instance, Viralytics has been acquired. Also, the third row from the top, you see 47. They have been acquired by Gilead relatively recently, so 5-6 weeks ago. And 47 had a market cap of $250 million, and they have been acquired by close to $5 billion. And you see there in the small box the share price chart. So there could be big up and downs and surprises along the way. It's very attractive, and it's of course very, very data driven. Now, what do we have? We have at the bottom of this page, in this traditional pipeline chart, we have IMP761, our world's first, or not our, but the world's first agonist to LAG-3. And it's at preclinical stage. We move that program forward. So it's a potential game changer, the way you treat autoimmune diseases. On top of that, you have eftilagimod alpha, an immune booster, in a diverse clinical trial program. And I believe that this is another key principle of the biotech business, that you should not only have good relationships with your customers, but also that you need to run multiple clinical trials. These are scientific experiments, and by definition, they could also go wrong or deliver unexpected results. So we have many different clinical trials, partly in conjunction with the big pharmaceutical industry. So you see a trial here with Merck, you see a trial with Pfizer. And I believe it's important that you can team up with big pharma, run clinical trials, develop relationships over time, but also to have the right competitive tension, that you are not only relying on one partner. We licensed eftilagimod for the territory of China to EOC some years ago, and there a phase 1 clinical trial in metastatic breast cancer is underway. So it's, I believe, around a portfolio of different clinical trials. Now, that's not all. We have out-licensed 2 product candidates already. On the one hand side, to Novartis, antagonistic antibody or blocking antibody, starting clinical development with a clinical trial back in 2015 with 240 patients. Now you look here at 5 clinical trials with well over 1,100 patients. And also our partner GlaxoSmithKline moves ahead. 2 completed phase 1 studies, and they started last year a phase 2 trial in ulcerative colitis. We collected a milestone payment from of more than 7 million Australian dollars for that. Both partners, Novartis and GlaxoSmithKline, are fully funding the development of the drugs. We collect milestone payments, and later on, when the products are on the market, we would collect also so-called royalties, which means percentages of the net revenues. Now to eftilagimod, our flagship. You have the problem in oncology, and also with the new and modern standard of care, that unfortunately just 20 to 30% of the patients are responding well to even most modern immuno-oncology options. So we try to improve the situation for the vast majority of the patients and deliver a benefit to the 70 to 80% of the patients not having an optimal response to therapy. And the antigen-presenting cell activators, eftilagimod as an MHC class II agonist is an antigen-presenting cell activator, an immune booster, could play an important role in this race for the benefit of the patients. How are we positioned? So first of all, we are first in class, MHC class II agonist. We have a good safety, encouraging efficacy. We will come to that. We have low cost of goods. I believe that's an extremely important point as well. Before the COVID crisis hit the market and the societies, there was a drug pricing debate, and I'm sure it will come back. We have here with eftilagimod, which is given with 30 milligram per patient subcutaneously, an option which is not a margin killer, I believe. So it could be positioned very nicely from a price perspective, which is extremely important if you look at combination therapies, if you look at drug pricing. It's a very important aspect, drug delivery, how it works, third-party cost, and dosage, of course, as well. And we have here a pipeline and a product. We do not treat cancer, but we treat the patient's immune system to actively fight cancer. And we could be combined with a variety of different other agents. Now, we recently reported data from phase 2 we run together with Marc. It's a clinical trial collaboration. So we fund the clinical trial, Marc provides drug. And we have here a so-called PD-L1 all-comer clinical trial. PD-L1 is a biomarker. The more PD-L1 a patient is having, the better the patient will respond to Keytruda therapy. We run this trial in Australia and the United States, as well as in the UK and Spain, in 3 different indications: first-line non-small cell lung cancer, second-line non-small cell lung cancer, and second-line head and neck cancer. You see the recruitment status at the box at the bottom. So we recruited well over 70% of the trial. The trial will recruit in total up to 109 patients. Primary endpoint is overall response rate, and it's a Simmons 2-stage design clinical trial, meaning that we recruit a first group of patients, have a predefined threshold of responses we would like to see before we enlarge by a second group of patients. So these definitions have, of course, been taken place before the first patient has been treated, and we already enlarged for the first and third group of patients, so first-line non-small cell lung cancer and second-line head and neck cancer. Now to the results. We see here, I believe, a very, very encouraging and exciting interim clinical trial outcome in first-line non-small cell lung cancer. First of all, we see a response rate of more than 50%, a disease control rate in this very aggressive disease of more than 80%. You see there the so-called waterfall plot. So every bar on the right you see represents the tumor shrinkage of the target lesions of a patient. So you see a lot of shrinkages. And then in the green box below that bar chart, you see also that across the different ranges of PD-L1 expression, you see responses. So the combination of Keytruda and eftilagimod is not only doing good where Keytruda would do good anyway, but it's doing good also at the expression levels of PD-L1 where you wouldn't expect a lot from Keytruda alone. So in a PD-L1 all-comer clinical trial from Keytruda alone, you would expect round about 20% response rate. And we look here at more than 50%. It's not a controlled clinical trial, but I believe it's a very, very strong statement. Also, if you look at other standard of care therapies, we have here really encouraging results and tracking well. This is also seen in the so-called spider plot. So every bar, and actually I believe this is a more important slide, represents a patient over time. So you see a long-term durable tumor shrinkage, median progression-free survival has not yet been reached. Also in head and neck cancer, we are tracking very well, overall response rate of 33%. If you compare that to pembrolizumab or Keytruda alone, you would expect there around about 15, 16, 17%. So again, we doubled the response rate compared to Keytruda alone. Of course, clearly better as a chemotherapy options which are available. Also, we published there the spider plot. It's not here in this presentation, but I would encourage everyone to look at that. Long-term durable responses, partly very late responses, which are untypical for Keytruda alone. Here is a single case out of a trial we conducted earlier, Tactimel in metastatic melanoma. You see here that under standard of care Keytruda treatment on the left-hand side, you look at CT scans of the lung, that the tumor has been growing, getting more massive, and then with the combination treatment, a complete confirmed response, this patient was disease-free. So the results we are seeing with the anti-PD-1 combination in different clinical trials are fitting very, very nicely together. We also have a trial together with Pfizer, 12 patients, a phase 1, which is now fully recruited. We mentioned that. And we look very much forward to provide data updates here for TACTI-002 at ESCO coming up in about a month, as well as first data for the Pfizer trial also at ESCO. We had a phase 2b APEC results reported about 5 weeks ago, which unfortunately has been leading to a steep decline of the share price. Even though we didn't see the desired results, I believe that the market, maybe also given COVID, overreacted. It's a phase 2b, multinational, double-blind, high-quality clinical trial design. We saw a difference of 48% overall response rate with eftilagimod and paclitaxel versus 38% of paclitaxel plus placebo. Progression-free survival overall was not what we hoped for. Just to be very clear, you see on the Kaplan-Meier curve on the right that the curves are falling together in the middle, so around month 7. But during the treatment period, the chemoimmunotreatment period, you saw that or see that eftilagimod seems to be superior. So we should have been treating the patients there longer, something we learned from that. Also, we learned that we have very interesting subgroups in line with the scientific mode of action. On the right-hand side, for instance, low monocyte count. So where patients do not have such a good immune status, even beyond month 6, where the combination treatment stops, you see a good effect, a clear separation of the curves, a good hazard ratio. If we would have been seeing this overall, we would have, of course, very, very different reactions. But the trial is not over. We still expect overall survival by end of this year. And also, of course, we will have regulatory interaction. We have other partnerships. I don't go into detail here. EOC in China, I mentioned already. They will continue in metastatic breast cancer. Cytlimic, they discovered a peptide vaccine via artificial intelligence, so big data meeting biotech. We provide drug there, can collect up to $5 million of cash. And we have also WuXi Biologics as a strategic manufacturing partner. Now, the out-licensed pipeline, Novartis, 5 clinical trials going very well. So we collected milestone payments. Of course, we hope for more in the future, also later on royalties. They have, we hope for data in this and the next year. Same applies for GlaxoSmithKline. I believe good data we saw in the past. We hope for more in the future. They just updated their expectations. So actually, they expect clinical proof of concept now in first half 2021. It's an exciting program, as well as our preclinical program, the world's first agonist antibody to LAG-3, IMP761, where we go to the root cause of the disease. So not a symptomatic cure, but the root cause of the disease, to temporarily silencing the chronically LAG-3 activated T cells. It's a big market. Very often when we are discussed, so Immutep is being discussed, our results, the autoimmune field is more or less completely forgotten, but I think it's quite exciting. Whole companies are created around autoimmune diseases, and we have this as a second important disease area. Now, what to expect? We have good news flow in this year in metastatic breast cancer. Overall survival will come in non-small cell lung cancer, first line. We expect more data also in second line head and neck cancer. We hope also for data from second line non-small cell lung cancer, so data updates. The combination with avelumab, so the Pfizer trial, if you like, first data at ESCO, so that's the next important stop in terms of data. We will have regulatory interaction and will appropriately guide the market. And we have, of course, also progress from the partner programs. We expect also in 2021, and our cash life is now with the recent raise extended till end of 2021. We see hopefully the finalization of the TACTI-002 trial, of the Pfizer trial, of APEC, so that we have a very, very robust basis and fundament to deliver on our business model. So I think that's it. In a nutshell, again, we are the worldwide leaders in terms of lymphocyte activation gene 3, the most promising immune checkpoint beyond PD-1 and CTLA-4. Two major disease areas, oncology as well as autoimmune diseases. Partnerships with 5 out of the top 20 worldwide pharmaceutical companies. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marc, for joining us. That was really comprehensive. That was a great overview of everything that's going on with Immutep. We have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
What is your expected cash reach?
Yeah, so our cash reach is till end of 2021. I believe that's very important. Also giving the currently very uncertain markets, COVID-19 is having an impact. So I believe it's good to be positioned like this and not to be under the constant expectation to raise cash the next day. And we can, for our base business plan, can fulfill all tasks which we plan for.
Mm-hmm. What about upcoming news that we might be able to expect coming out of Immutep's partners on the LAG-3 programs that they're undertaking?
Right. So in terms of our own use, I think I mentioned that a second ago. Our partners, let's go through them. So first of all, EOC, our Chinese partner for eftilagimod, I expect them to put out data of the phase 1 in metastatic breast cancer. And of course, to provide some updates of their plans to move possibly into a registration trial. Also, I expect news from CyteLimic. Their cancer vaccine program, together with eftilagimod, should provide some data. Maybe we see also new clinical trials coming up there. Then let's go to the out-licensed pipeline, GlaxoSmithKline, first half of 2021, clinical proof of concept in ulcerative colitis, also a very terrible disease. So it's an important update we expect there. Novartis, 5 clinical trials. They reported data at ESCO 2018, ESCO 2019. So maybe we see something at ESCO 2020 or ESMO or SITC. And then beyond our own pipeline, our own products, of course, it would be very important to see, for instance, a phase 3 from Bristol Myers Squibb reading out. If they would validate LAG-3, that would be very, very important for us. So that's not a competition, but it would validate LAG-3. We are the worldwide leading company in terms of LAG-3, so it should be very, very positive. So our own data is important, but also the data which you see from other companies.
Thank you for joining us, Marc. That was great, all the way from Berlin.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thanks. And thank you so much, everyone else, for staying on the call today. This was the Virtual Health Conference, May 2020. And on Wednesday, we have the NWR Virtual Resources Conference coming up. So that's a 2-day conference as well. And you'll hear from a number of small caps and micro caps listed on the ASX, as well as a couple of fund managers who will be making an appearance on that one too. Stay tuned for that, and we'll keep you posted. You can obviously go onto the website, the NWR website, which you did register for this for, and you'll see all the information that you need to register for the Resources Conference on there. Thank you. We'll see you later.